Coming up in the news, ECCB officials on island consult with stakeholders on consumer protection and market conduct supervision, and Grenada to implement reformed CXC school-based assessment framework. We'll have details to these stories and more, plus a look at news in the region when we return.
August 1st is coming, and Grenville is about to transform with activities in observance of Emancipation Day 2026.
Under the theme, proudly claiming our land, our culture, our identity.
Start your day with flavor from 6 a.m. with breakfast at the Grenville Car Park. Then at 2 p.m., the energy moves to the bus terminal for a massive community exhibition.
Come see, come buy, come support. As the sun sets, the real magic begins at 5:30 p.m. with the Flambeau March from Subi Fisher facility onward to the Grenville bus terminal.
Then at 8 p.m. is the formal ceremony with brief speeches, followed by cultural activities from 8:30 p.m. featuring drumming like you've never heard before.
Dance that moves the soul, a live band that keeps the vibe alive, and special performances by local artists and groups you won't forget.
From breakfast to midnight, it's all happening at the Grenville Bus Terminal. Saturday, August 1st. Don't be late. Emancipation Day 2026. Proudly claiming our land, our culture, our identity.
This event is hosted by the National Celebrations Committee in collaboration with SEDU.
Welcome back with the details of the GIS news for Monday, July 20th. I am Rikisha St. Louis. The Grenada round of Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's stakeholder engagement consultations has begun ahead of the official launch of the Office for Financial Conduct in September 2026. The office will roll out the ECCB's Market Conduct Supervision Program, which will be responsible for consumer protection. It aims to enhance consumer protection, promote fair business practices, and strengthen confidence in the regional financial system. Chief Director of Policy, Dr. Tracy Polius, is currently on the island, conducting these sessions with banks and financial institutions, NGOs, government and opposition, youth, and other groups.
Market conduct regulation really means the extent to which banks preserve the rights of their customers, the extent to which they disclose material information to their customers so the customers could make appropriate decisions, the extent to which they make available to their customers opportunities to ensure that disputes are handled appropriately and they provide them with redress. That is all called market conduct supervision, and we will be introducing that at the ECCB through the Office of Financial Conduct in September 2026.
The office was established to address consumer complaints and dissatisfaction in financial institutions and educate on the effects and risk of technology in the financial world.
Consumers, especially post-COVID, complained a lot about the treatment of the banks, when they do business with them, persons, because of the COVID protocols, had to spend long hours in the sun outside and were unhappy. And as a result, people started complaining. Also, just after that time, there were lots of complaints about increasing fees and charges and how banks collect on collateral, because a lot of persons you would appreciate would have lost income during that time. So the collection of on collateral post-COVID would be increasing. So we received a lot of complaints and we thought it important to try to strengthen the relationship between banks and customers. And that is one of the reasons why we are launching the Office for Financial Conduct. But additionally, banks have been leveraging what we call ICT, Information Communication Technologies, which is deployed via your phone, deployed via your computer, your laptop. And we could access our bank accounts through our smartphones and our laptops. But with that comes increased risk of frauds and scams. And therefore, we want to ensure that consumers are protected against those risks, that we enhance the level of digital and financial literacy of our customers so they don't fall victim to those frauds and scams.
Initial consultations began in 2025. Dr. Polius said Grenadians will benefit tremendously from the establishment of the office.
people are very excited generally about financial consumer protection and about the fact that we are launching the OFC. They see it as a needed intervention, and we are very happy that we will be bringing some relief to the market. And we are happy also, we see it as an opportunity to strengthen the relationship between banks and their consumers, because we do not want to get to the point where people distrust the bank so much that they have their monies under their mattress. We want that money in the financial system because we want it to churn. We want that money lent to SMEs and other people so that we could create more opportunity, more economic value, and, increase the economic pie. And therefore, it's important that we implement this piece of legislation so that we have greater confidence in the financial system.
The Ministry of Agriculture has recognized a group of young agricultural professionals for their successful participation in agricultural training programs at the University of Guyana, an important milestone in strengthening Grenada's agricultural sector and developing the next generation of agricultural leaders. A special recognition meeting was held at the ministry's conference room on Monday as participants gathered to celebrate the graduates' achievements and reflect on their educational journey. Addressing the gathering, Minister for Agriculture, Lands and Forestry, Honorable Lennox Andrews, highlighted the importance of the young people in acquiring valuable technical knowledge and skills that can contribute to Grenada's development.
It's a wonderful feeling. And of course, it's a pleasant sight to see you in your youthful exploits, your youthful academic exploits achieving. And for me, it's memorable because it reminds me of my early years of academic formation as well. Because when the revolution triumphed, I did in fact get a scholarship to proceed to university and graduate and return home and contribute.
Addressing the graduates, Chief Extension Officer Lawrence St. Louis congratulated them on their determination and resilience throughout the program. They acknowledged the challenges faced during their studies and encouraged the participants to continue pursuing excellence while using their knowledge and experiences to support others.
Like I said, congratulations again, and we look forward to working with you to see how far you can get. Don't put any limitations on yourselves. We are not going to put limitations on you. See how far you can reach and see how much what we invest in you, how much it is you can give back to your country, how much it is you can build somebody else, because that is what the whole, thing is, that you're invested in and you make sure that you pay it forward so that you can, build somebody else in the future.
Permanent Secretary Javon Williams urged the participants to continue their academic and professional development through higher education and specialized training opportunities, noting the growing need for highly qualified professionals within the agricultural sector.
So now that you're back, some of you may want to pursue higher education, and I think you should. Because the stronger you are in your science, the better you'll be able to support persons to improve their production in the field. Good. So who has to go on, do the best in that area?
During the meeting, participants introduced themselves and shared their experiences, areas of study, and future aspirations. Several graduates expressed interest in pursuing further education, launching agricultural enterprises, and contributing to community development initiatives. Others spoke about their desire to support local farmers and help modernize Grenada's agricultural industry through innovation and knowledge sharing. Ministry officials also discussed opportunities available to graduates, including additional training programs, entrepreneurship support, startup grant initiatives, and potential access to land for agricultural projects. Participants were encouraged to take advantage of these opportunities as they transition into the next phase of their careers. The batch comprises over 15 students, some of whom have completed diploma programs at the University of Guyana. Others are returning to complete 3-year courses. The students also shared with the ministry representatives products developed during their training programs, including wines, baby food, and dried herbal blends. The Ministry of Education says it is working closely with CXC and local educational partners to prepare for the transition to adopt the approved reformed school-based assessment framework. CXC has approved a reformed school-based assessment framework that will be introduced across the region over the next 2 examination cycles. The reforms were approved at its recent 64th meeting to strengthen the integrity, credibility, and effectiveness of SPAs throughout the regional examination system. Implementation of the reforms will be phased. CAPE candidates will begin using the new framework from 2027 and CSEC candidates in 2028. Under the new framework, SPAs will be required only for practical subjects with strengthened monitoring and moderation procedures. Candidates in non-practical subjects will be required to complete paper 3-2 as an alternative to the traditional SBA, which will feature more flexible examination arrangements. Paper 3-2 scores will be transferable from 1 year to the next, similar to the current SBA system. We'll take a short break. Stay with us.
Proudly claiming our land, our culture, and our identity. We invite you to Watch Night, July 31st. Enslaved Africans gathered in secret in 1838, waiting for midnight to bring emancipation. Join us as we honor this legacy, bridging past, present, and promise. Watch Night 2026 celebrates the anticipation of freedom at the Grenville Bus Terminus, July 31st, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Hosted by the National Celebrations Committee, we ask you to come out in your numbers and be part of a night of praise and worship and cultural presentation. Come witness the dynamic dancers from Agape Ministry, live music from Tivoli Catholic Choir, Rema Worship Team, drumming from Lion Pride, Tivoli drummers, Rastafarian groups, and from Jabali, performers from Tobago. It's a family event. Come, let's celebrate the freedom fought for by our ancestors.
Welcome back. The rehabilitation unit within His Majesty's Prison is undergoing structural changes to accommodate blended learning and upskill to facilitate self-employment after incarceration. Head of the unit, Leon Cornwall, told GIS that so far its education program has been renamed and has transitioned into a learning institution that will be registered with the Ministry of Education. The school will maintain the focus of skills training. However, it has expanded learning from basic to university level teaching.
The Winston Courtney Learning Center, and the principal of that school is Miss Tamara Humphrey. So it's officially a school now, and we hope it will enjoy some of the benefits of other schools and so, because we're doing programs from basic literacy right up to university level, and it also includes skill training, agriculture, mechanics, electrical installation, AC and refrigeration, as well as furniture making. So that we're trying to prepare inmates in a more comprehensive way so that they would be able to have a fighting chance of staying outside. Because if they cannot be employed, well, at least they would have the skill to create their own employment, self-employment.
Discussions are ongoing with the business community, the Grenada Investment Development Corporation, and Steels to invest in the upgrade of the teaching system to facilitate virtual teaching and learning.
During COVID-19, all our education programs came to zero because we could not go among the inmates because we are coming from outside. We want to be able to stay. If something like that were to occur, God forbid, we want to be able to stay in a safe area so we don't contaminate inmates, but still carry out classes. As well as to have teachers from other schools, because we do not have all the teachers that we need to do the work. So there's some teachers who volunteer to help us. They may not be able to leave their school physically, but to be able to do the teaching from their location to there. So we're looking forward to the upgrading of our computer lab and so on. And as I say, this is by the assistance of the business community, specifically.
Hundreds of inmates have graduated from the prison education program over the years and have smoothly transitioned into society. Still locally, Grenada gears up to commemorate the 9th annual IFA festival from July 24th to 31st. The 7-day Yoruba spiritual celebration honors Uromilia, the deity of wisdom and divinity. The event draws worshippers with ancient rituals, ancestral blessings, and divine counsel. The IFA festival in Grenada is organized by Iya Ifatuki, Yvonne Drakes, who was initiated into the spiritual practice of Ifa in 2016. The festival started in 2018. Ms. Drakes emphasized the significance of the festival.
My culture comes from who I am. My spirituality comes from worshiping. So there's a difference. One we worship, one we practice. So I am practicing right now culture. I'm still very much who I am because I understand Ifa is divine. And to get to the point where Ifa will deal with you, you have to walk that divinity road.
She highlighted some of the week's activities, which include drumming, dancing, libation, and other traditional acts.
I would like, honestly, that people will attend all the activities if they can. But some of them, like we have the flambeau, which we will change to the massentro because we just got that name from the ancestors. Invite the community, tell them to come out with the massentro. And when I investigate it, it means the flambeau. And they would come out at night and venerate the ancestors. So on Friday evening, we start with that, we would gather and we will do some libation at the corner where we are gathering. We do 3 days really for the ancestors, and we ask them to guide us because the whole festival is guided by the ancestors. And they will guide us. They would change, say, this is what they want, this is what they want, this is what they want us to do, and that's how we do it. So Friday night is very important. We can venerate the ancestors. And I never used to cook food on Friday night. But a couple of years ago, the ancestors say, you must cook ancestral food. What is the ancestral food in Grenada? Oil down. Okay. So Friday night, we're cooking all the different kind of oil. And we used to do a lot of bacon, give sandwiches and stuff like that. Now we give food, you're all down. So, and we can have the drums and enjoy yourself. Okay.
Finally, in the local segment, the High Commission of Canada to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Her Excellency Brenda Wills, says over 100,000 Canadian dollars will be contributed to 2 Grenadian organizations through the Canada Fund for Local Initiatives to strengthen community safety and expand economic opportunities. The projects will be implemented by the Grenada Community Development Agency, Inc., GrenCoda, and the Belmont Foundation. GrenCoda will allocate 90,000 Canadian dollars to implement the Building Safer Communities, community-based crime prevention project, strengthening community-based approaches to crime prevention across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. Working closely with the Royal Grenada Police Force, the Legal Aid and Counseling Clinic, local businesses, and other community partners, the initiative will support at-risk youth, strengthen community policing and neighborhood safety initiatives, and build local capacity to prevent and respond to crime. The project will also promote collaboration between communities and law enforcement and support the development of community policing tools and resources adapted from Canadian best practices. 49,900 Canadian dollars will be used by the Belmont Foundation for the Island Futures Lab, Building Green Livelihoods for Youth and Women project. This will equip 30 unemployed and vulnerable women and youth with practical training in climate-resilient agriculture, food safety, agro-processing, entrepreneurship, and digital skills. The Canada Fund for Local Initiatives is a program designed to support small-scale, high-impact projects that address local needs and advance Canada's international priorities. This is the GIS News. We'll take a look at what's happening in the region when we come back.
Are you thinking about buying a vehicle? Did you find a company on social media? Stop. It may be a scam. Look out for the following red flags. Is the price lower than other dealers? Does it seem too good to be true? Are you sending the monies to the US even though you are ordering the vehicle from Japan? Does the address on the invoice match the address on the payment details? Are conversations limited to WhatsApp text? Is there a sense of urgency placed on you by the seller? You are about to be scammed. Do not take your hard-earned cash or even worse, a loan to send to these scammers. Once the money leaves Grenada's shores, you are not likely to get it back. Consider buying a vehicle already on island from an individual or a car dealer. Beware of these scammers. If in doubt, it's best to stay out. A message from the Financial Intelligence Unit.
Welcome back. St. Kitts and Nevis has officially withdrawn its bid to host the 2027 Carifta Games, dashing the hopes of a nation that had eagerly awaited the return of the region's premier junior athletics championships. After months of public speculation and initial governmental interest, the decision to step aside was confirmed on Wednesday by Minister for Sports, Samuel Duggins. Following high-level discussions with the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletics Association and the Olympic Committee, the administration concluded that next year is simply not the most ideal time for the federation to take on the prestigious event. The withdrawal marks a dramatic end to what was already a turbulent bidding process. During the 2026 Carifta Games in Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis and Trinidad and Tobago emerged as the sole candidates after no formal bids were submitted ahead of the NACAC Congress. Both nations were subsequently asked to provide robust government or sponsor guarantees, a requirement stiffened by NACAC President Mike Sands to prevent athletics associations from facing major financial shortfalls. Those requirements carried particular weight for St. Kitts and Nevis, which previously hosted the Games in 2008 and 2015. The Caribbean Regional Fisheries Mechanism, CRFM, and the Caribbean Community Climate Change Center, 5Cs, have taken an important step toward working more closely together to help protect the Caribbean's oceans, fisheries, and coastal communities from the growing impacts of climate change. Leaders from both organizations met on July 16th to discuss how to combine their knowledge, resources, and experience to tackle some of the region's most pressing environmental challenges. One of the biggest topics of discussion was sargassum. While sargassum can harm tourism, fishing, and marine ecosystems, both organizations agreed that it could also become an opportunity if safely transformed into useful products through a circular economy approach. The meeting also highlighted the growing importance of blue carbon, the carbon stored in coastal ecosystems such as mangroves and seagrasses, which plays a key role in combating climate change. The partnership reflects a shared vision, a Caribbean where healthy oceans, thriving fisheries, resilient coastal communities, and climate-smart development go hand in hand. That's a look at news for today, Monday, July 20th. Here's a recap of the top stories. ECCB officials on island to consult with stakeholders on consumer protection and market conduct supervision. And Grenada to implement reformed CXC school-based assessment framework. On behalf of the news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis, thanking you for joining us.